Welcome to the Asian Dating Podcast. I'm your host, May Bugenhagen. I run a boutique matchmaking company called Two Asian Matchmakers that started out of Los Angeles, and I help men of all ethnicities who want to date Asian women. And I try to bring on another matchmaker or someone in the dating industry to come on my show and talk about dating and learn new information so you, as the listener, can be out there dating and dating successfully. So this week I have Trenia Norford. She is a matchmaker currently out of Florida, and she's been doing this for, over 13 years. And I'm going to have her introduce herself. And Trenia, tell us a little bit about what you do, what your company's about.
Well, first of all, May, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate this opportunity to chat with you. I started Connectricity 13 years ago, over 13 years ago. Believe it or not, it'll be 14 years in September. I can't believe that. But I started in Chicago, and I've grown my database or my business to include singles throughout the country. And I am also a coach, as most of our matchmakers are. We're relationship and date coaches as well. But I'm also a date relationship coach, and I've been having fun for the last 13 and a half years.
So what age range do you specialize in? Any specific ethnicity?
My sweet spot would be men and women, professional men and women. That's just who I work with, professional men and women between the ages of 30 and 50, like 30s and 50s. Like that's my sweet spot. That being said, I also will have a client over the age of 50, and never younger than 30, but usually over the age of 50. But my typical client is between mid 30s, mid 50s.
Do you find it tough to set up men under age 30 in the matchmaking world? Like, are there women out there that are even looking so young for matchmakers?
That's a great question. And I think that's why, my sweet spot is, 35 and up, 35, 55. I find that men and women, younger than, 30s, early 30s, they're still exploring life. They're very ingrained into whatever their job is. They're very career focused. They want to date, they want to travel, they want to have fun, and I think they should. So to move to a higher end service to help them look for their partner, I think that usually happens later on in life, after you've had fun and you realize that you just in the midst of having fun, you couldn't find a partner. So you work with, you hire a matchmaker to help you find that person.
So, as a matchmaker, do you get a lot of clients that want to date Asian women in Florida?
It's funny that you asked. I actually have a gentleman now who is, he's in his early 40s, and he exclusively wants to date Asian women. So he lives in North Carolina, and very, very successful. So I tend to work with pretty successful men and women, but he's a successful guy, and he wants to date Asian women, and he just feels like key life values, like they align very well with Asian women and his culture. So he hired me to help him look exclusively for Asian women. But that being said, typically, I would say that my men, and I work with all ethnicities, by the way, May, I didn't answer that question. I work with all ethnicities. And typically, my clientele, they're open to ethnicity, so Asian included. Yeah.
What is he?
Nigerian.
Okay.
Yeah. Nigerian.
Nigerian. How tall is he?
American.
How much does he weigh? Like, give me all the good
Oh,
stuff.
you want all the goodness. So I'm trying really hard not to say his name because it's so easy for me to like say the name, but he's 5'8". he's slim built, athletic, slim built, like 150, 160. He is a nice dresser. He's very kind gentleman, very smart, very family oriented, never been married, no kids, and he wants that badly. I mean, not desperately, but he again, successful guy. That's the only thing that's missing. So he's looking for someone that he can travel with, he can start a family with, and just live with, live life with. So
And he wants the woman to relocate to him to North Carolina.
yes, ultimately. He
Okay.
also has a home in Miami. So, that they would live in North Carolina and also Florida.
Okay. So
Yeah,
someone who's comfortable with having like two homes uh
right.
and
Exactly.
he's okay if she wants to be a stay-at-home mom or should
A
she still
hundred. And I
work?
was just about to touch on that. So the person, and I need to be very careful in how I choose the words that I'm about to say, because he doesn't want someone who's just, like, oh, I have no passion, no desire to do anything. He would like someone, to be passionate about something. Um, but they 100% he wants them to be a stay-at-home mom, but passionate. Like maybe they're, into um dogs. Like I love dogs, right? So pets. And so they can help out at like a dog shelter. I don't know, but he just wants he wants them to have a passion, an interest in something so that, it's not like, oh, I'm bored, I want to do something. You know what I mean? Like that's important for him. Yeah.
Like one
They
kid,
don't have to
two
be like
kids?
career oriented.
Okay. He wants one kids, two kids. Like what does he?
Yeah, he wants a family. He, a couple of kids.
Mhm.
Um, it's interesting. He didn't say the number, but he's open. He said a couple. That's his exact verbiage. A couple.
So can you tell us what does he do for a living or being kind of vague about it?
Yeah, so I feel like I want to be very, very successful professional. He is in technology, but I'd like to keep that broad if you don't mind.
Mhm.
But he's a very successful professional in the technology industry. There you
He
go.
sounds great. I mean,
And he's
yeah.
handsome. He's a handsome guy. He's a kind guy. One thing I like about, what I do is I get a chance to choose my clients. I get a chance, we will have our consultation. They get a chance to choose me, but I also get a chance to choose them. And I like working with people that obviously they're intentional about a relationship, but also someone who's nice. There's so many times, I mean, over the 13 years that I've been doing this, man, I'm sure you could attest to this. I've worked with some very not nice people, right? Or very, you know, like aggressive.
Yeah.
And, over the years, I'm like, you know what? I'm 50 now. I want to be able to choose a person that I work with. Like, I don't want to have to say, oh my God, you know what? They're great on paper. I need the money. Let's work together. No, I get a chance to choose my clients, and I like that. And I chose him. As he chose me, I chose him. So I can, he's a wonderful guy. I'm enjoying getting to know him. And I really want to find him love. Yeah.
I think you will. I think you will. I know, Trenia, you have a really good success record. And I know from speaking with you all these years, I mean, I've been in the business for 16 years now and you 13. And I feel like I've known you for a while, like at conferences and meeting in person outside of the conferences and talking to you on the phone. Like, I could really tell that you are genuinely passionate about what you do. And you don't waste time talking to me on the phone because you're busy. You're like a go-getter, right? So I totally get that vibe from you. Like you're a go-getter, you like do things that's right and moral, and you have a good moral compass and all that. So
Well,
yeah,
thank you for saying that.
yeah,
It's interesting. We do things as matchmakers and coaches. We do things, or we work with people, to help them find love.
yeah.
And the ultimate gift, right, for any matchmaker, and I'm sure I can talk for any matchmaker in the world, but the ultimate gift or gratitude is when not only your clients get married, but you're invited to their wedding and asked, and then like this beautiful toast made, to you at the wedding. So just this past October, I went to a wedding in oh my God, where was it? Charleston. It's beautiful, beautiful city. I don't know if you've been, but we went to Charleston, and it's a beautiful wedding. But the bride and groom, they toast made a toast to me, and I got really emotional
Yeah.
because I'm like there with my husband. I don't know anyone, and usually you give toast to like the best man and the your bridesmaids and all that. But they made a nice little special toast to me, and I just thought that was so beautiful. I mean, the fact that I was invited and a part of their beautiful day, but then also the fact that they said, special recognition to me. It was just great. It was really wonderful. So
That
yes, you're right. I
sounds
love what
amazing.
I do.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, we're going to switch gears a little bit. And
Okay.
today I prepared some questions, random questions about dating, about helping the listeners out there. And I'm going to just fire off and ask them to you, and you just answer them as best as you can. And
Okay.
obviously, no right or wrong answer. So, okay, Trenia, think back to when you were single and you're at a bar or restaurant or at a coffee shop or at Whole Foods or Trader Joe's. How do you want a guy to approach you if they are single and they think you're single and they might be interested in striking up a conversation with you? What is the ideal way if they can't hire a matchmaker or they're not doing online dating, but they're just out there in the real world? Like, how do you want a guy to approach you if you were a single woman?
This is a fun question. I like it. So my God, I haven't been single for years, but what I would, what I would like for him to just start a conversation. Whatever it is, like if we're in a grocery store, I think you mentioned grocery store. If we're in the grocery store, um, you know, just ask, like, oh, so you like strawberries? Like just start a conversation with me. Mean you starting a conversation with me, I already know that you're interested, right? Like I think that's the assertiveness that's missing today. People are just scared to start a conversation. Maybe after the conversation, we both realize that, I don't want to take it any further, right? But you never know if you don't start, right? So start a conversation. Ask me about the fruit that I'm about to buy. Um, Ask me how my day was. How are you? How was your day today? Smile. Just be approachable. I think that if a guy did that, and I was physically attracted to him, then yeah, I'd give him my number. I'd have coffee with him. Why not?
See, that's great. Like, I feel like we don't do enough of that nowadays. We're just on our phones, we're just texting somebody, or we're actually on the phone physically talking to somebody while we're in the store, and we're not just being aware of what's going on around us. And I feel like at a grocery store, if you were picking up some strawberries and I just reached over and I'm like, oh wow, these strawberries look really good. Like, do you shop here often, or what are you, oh wow, you like got a lot of celery there in your cart. What are you making? Like, whatever. Like, I feel like people just have lost the art of making small talk to get to that level where, you're kind of interesting. I would love to have coffee with you sometime. Are you, how do I get your number? Or would you like to go coffee right after this? Like, who knows, right? Like, there's so many opportunities to meet people. You already know you shop at the same grocery store. So you already have that in common, right?
Yeah. I mean, and the fact that you're at the same grocery store typically means that you're in the same area, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and you made a fantastic point about people are just like on their phones, looking down at their phones. Do you know how many opportunities are missed just looking at your phone or like on the phone?
Yeah.
No one, you're saying by that demeanor, you're saying that I'm unapproachable. Like, don't approach me, I'm busy. That's exactly what that behavior is showing, right? Or demonstrating. Um, so, you know, and I guess this is good advice for single people. Like, Be approachable. Like if you're single and you want to meet someone, you can meet someone at the grocery store, at the gas station, walking your dog, um, working out, like just simple day-to-day activities, whatever it is that you do, traveling, whatever it is that you can do, whatever it is that you do, you can meet someone. Just put your phone down, put it in your purse, and just be aware of your surroundings. And guess what? I'll just add one more thing. It's okay for you to start the conversation as well, especially since you guys are in the same environment. You're doing it's you guys have a similarity because you're in that same space, right? So you can start the conversation. You have a lot of strawberries in your cart, making a strawberry smoothie, like whatever, like I travel here all the time. Is this your first time in this city? Like whatever it is, it's okay to start a conversation because sometimes the guys are a little, apprehensive. They may not want to start a conversation with you because you're too pretty. So you start the conversation and let them carry it, or you can carry it.
So
Yeah.
going back to the grocery store example, so how would a woman let a guy know that she's interested in him? What are some things that she should say or ask him aside from the obvious, oh, does your wife like strawberries too? I mean, what like,
Yeah.
what can people hint at or drop hints to a guy to let him know that, hey, I'm kind of digging you.
So it is incredibly difficult for a lot of people to start conversations. It's like they have to work up their nerve, right? To ask a question. So when the question is asked, don't give them a one-word answer. Engage in conversation. So let's continue rolling with the strawberries. Wow, you have a lot of strawberries. You making a strawberry smoothie? Ha 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 ha. No, I'm buying strawberries I'm making a strawberry rhubarb. I don't know. Oh, you love to bake? Yeah, I love to bake. Do you like strawberry rhubarb? I don't know. Like
Right.
carry the conversation, let it go back and forth organically, of course. Don't force it, but ask questions as well, right? Answer and ask questions. Be engaged, and you will get, asked to go out to coffee if that's what you want, but you will get asked, but you just have to show interest in that way. And you show interest by continuing to engage in conversation. Not very hard to do. You just got to do.
I like how you said, don't give them a one word answer, because that's totally how people show disinterest, right? Even if you're texting someone back and forth and you're just replying with one word answers, that's not very engaging. That's not very friendly.
Yeah.
So the fact that you said that is a good reminder that just carry the conversation, make it go naturally. Should they give them a compliment like, oh, you seem like you'd be a good baker, or no? Is that too much?
100%. Why not? And that's another thing. Just too many rules. When meeting someone, both on the men's side and the women's, it's just too many rules. Like, just whatever you're feeling, whatever what's going on in your head, is only if it's nice. Say it. It's okay to compliment someone. People like to feel good about themselves. I'll tell you a quick story, and it has nothing to do with dating, but just to tell you, like, you just never know what people are going through. Really quick. Last week, took my son, to tennis, met up with another mom, and I haven't seen her, I don't know, a couple of months. I gave her a hug. I'm like, I just gave her a hug. How are you? She's like, Trenia, I needed that. And started crying. She had like the worst day at work, whatever, and don't need to get into that. But I just gave her a hug, May, and she's like, I needed that. Thank you. So you just never know what people are going through, right? And and so to compliment someone, to make someone feel good about themselves, that's also like, a lost art. People don't do that anymore because, again, the phone. It's like, hey, what? Oh, okay, good. No, like that's our culture now. That's what's going on. Compliment people, engage in conversation, talk, and you'll be surprised. I mean, you just the amount of opportunities that will come from it. Just even outside of dating,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
it's
Even
good.
like a guy can be like, wow, you know what? You seem really cool. I'm kind of in a hurry to leave. Otherwise, I would totally ask you out to go get coffee. Would you like to go get coffee sometime? And then just like, what's your phone number? Let me get your number. And you're in a hurry and you're going away. You're not overstaying your welcome. You're just busy, right? And that looks good that you have a life and you're busy and you're not just hanging out trying to pick up on chicks at Trader Joe's or something. So,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
true.
Okay. So, speaking of life, how you just said that, I know you're not single, you've been married for a long time. What of advice for life, like that you've learned, whether it's in dating or your marriage or having kids, or what are some things that just kind of pop up in your life? I know you said one thing already is to give someone a compliment or a hug. You don't know what they're going through, but what other things that we can do to be like nice, kind, genuine, normal people that are not on our phones?
That's a great question. I would always start with self-care, and that's just such a like general like phrase. What is self-care? And that looks, different for other people, but it's taking care of yourself, mentally, emotionally, physically. Um, you're able to, and again, that looks different for, different people. But when you take care of yourself in those three ways I just named, you're able to have a very positive outlook in life. And that positivity is very, very infectious. And then everyone around you will, depending, and no matter how they're feeling, they're going to want to be around you. You're, smiling, just being happy, kind, compassionate, thoughtful. Like that, just all of that will just come naturally when you take care of yourself, because you know what you want, what you can deal with. You'll set your boundaries, and being able to know who you are and what your boundaries are, letting people know that through your actions. I think that is, I don't know. I think that that's powerful, and that's a powerful life uh, lesson.
I like that. I totally can relate where setting boundaries is, hey, you carved out this time every day for yourself to go work out or to go run errands, to do things for yourself. And it feels good to be able to have certain things in your life that you know are going to make you feel better and to go with that and not apologize for that. And when you said self care, I thought, okay, therapy is really popular now with people to talk to somebody about certain issues. That's not to say that their spouse isn't giving them what they need, but sometimes you just want a uh, professional outlook on something. So, do you get a lot of clients that mention that they have a therapist or that they go to therapy? And what do the opposite sex think of that? Have you encountered any clients that mention, I actually want to meet a guy that's gone through therapy or got some help for themselves? Or do you know what
Yeah, that, of course. So, I will say that the clients that I have that are like currently, with the therapist, it's receiving professional help, their their outlook in life is just, again, I'm using the word very positive,
I mean?
and they're very receptive when you're talking about another possible match that is also going through therapy. That's not something that, I necessarily bring up when I'm matching, but if it's something that is important to a client, and last year I was talking to someone who's just very traumatic life experiences, and she was just going through therapy. Um, it was important for her to date someone who's either have gone through that route of professional help or is going through it, because for her it's a life-changing um, commitment, and she wants someone to understand, and the only person that would understand, in her opinion, is someone who has gone through it or is going through it. So, I mean, never met a client or had a client where therapy was looked upon as negative or, oh, no, no, no. In fact, the quite opposite. Like
Yeah.
it's a positive thing. And I will say that people are readily like, open to talk about it. Like, oh yeah, I'm in therapy and it's great for me because that's what it is. It's great for them. They have seen improvement or changes and they want to talk about it because they're not, the person they once were and they're happy about that. So they want to talk about it. So yeah, I have not, thank goodness, have had a client where, they thought negative about therapy.
Yeah, that's like if someone goes through a really tough or sad or long relationship and going through a breakup and they just keep it bottled inside, don't get any help, don't go through any books or see a therapist. Like I feel like they have a harder time healing from that relationship versus why don't they just go talk to a therapist for 1 month, 2 months, a year and help them work through that so they can prepare themselves for the next relationship. I feel like all those things help somebody in getting over somebody
Yeah.
and being better for their next person.
Yeah, I mean that's all part of self-care. I mean, it's self-care, life, relationships. It's important to know yourself.
Yeah.
And this and therapy is part of that. I'll say that when I was in my 20s, I don't know, I was probably 22, 23. I went through a period because I was a monogamous date, like a serial dater, just date, long-term relationships, but I was just dating, dating, dating. Never had a break. You know, never knew what Trenia wanted, right? Because I was always with someone. And so I took a year, like a year and a half off from dating. And I didn't go to therapy, but I took a year and a half off from dating and I fell in love with myself. So and at that point, I knew what I wanted, what I can tolerate, because I was just meeting like the same guy, different bodies, right? Different person, human, but it's the same type. And it was just driving me crazy and it was making me sad. So I took that year and a half and just, reflected and just, hung out with, friends and family, but I was by myself. I journaled. That's when I started journaling actually in my 20s. Just journaled and um I just again fell in love with myself. And guess what, May? I met my husband. We didn't start dating immediately because he was dating, whatever. We didn't start dating immediately, but I met him and I kid you not. I said, this is the type of guy that I would want to marry. Like, I'm glad he's in my life because who knows what'll happen because this is the guy that I would want to marry. And I knew that in my 20s, that year and a half that I took off from like just dating. So just I tell you that story to say how important self-reflection, self-care is. Very important. You need to know who you are and what makes you happy before you find a partner who, you know, dictate or not dictate, that's a strong word, but who will kind of alter, what you think is happy. Like his happiness becomes your happiness because you don't know what your happiness is. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just being with a guy sometimes sways your own opinions and your
Yes.
own life, and you want to be so close to him that what his goals are ends up being your goals, and you're like, wait, that's actually not my goal, or you just want to learn more about yourself. So yeah,
Do you remember that movie Runaway Bride? Please
yeah,
say you saw that movie. Okay,
yeah.
goody goody. So you remember when
Julia
Julia
Roberts.
Roberts' character, she was sitting in the restaurant and she was ordering eggs and the server asked her, he's like, so how do you take your eggs? And she's like, I actually have no idea because she was always the runaway bride. She always took her eggs the same way as her fiance, right? The person she was dating. She always took her eggs the way that her fiance or the person that she was dating took their eggs. And she didn't know what she liked. So she said, you know what? I'll take them all. However you make them, I want them all different ways. I want to find out the type of egg. Do you remember that scene or no? Oh,
No, but I do have the movie, and now I will watch it
please
before I
do.
talk to you again.
Yeah,
So,
that was I remember that. I mean, one, it's one of my favorite movies, but two, it's just that was just like that was really like just intriguing to me.
yeah.
Like, well, she doesn't know how she likes her egg.
Now, how many years have you been married now?
Oh my God, 15?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, in the 15 years that you've been married, what would you say now, 15 years later? What is the one thing you really love about your husband?
Aw,
Because
Mr.
it could
Brett.
be something different, like when you first started dating till now, but like,
Yeah.
what is something you really think back? Like, you know what? I'm 50 now. I know you just had a birthday party and all that.
Yeah.
Like, now that you're 50, you've been with this guy for 15 years. What is one thing you really feel like, you know what? I really appreciate this about him. I really love this about him. What is it?
You know what it is? It may sound like cheesy or whatever, but he is still like my best friend. Like we just laugh about everything and I like it. Like I enjoy hanging out with him. I do. I enjoy hanging out with him. We have so much fun. So on Sundays, it was just this past Sunday, today's Tuesday. Yeah. And it's typical, typically on Sundays, we'll sit out in the backyard in our deck and just we'll read and like listen to audibles, podcasts, whatever, and then we'll like throw in our comments here and there. And just this past Sunday, just doing what we usually do. And I said something that was really, really funny. And he just like, he started cracking, like belly laugh, like crying. And and that made me laugh. And I mean, like, you just still, I mean, after 15 years, so we were married for 15, but together for 16, 17, 18, 19. So
Yeah,
together for 19, best friends since 20, since we were 21. Like, you get tired of each other after, you know what I mean? But I don't get tired of him. Like he's really my BFF. Like I adore him. So I love the fact that I can continue to I still laugh with him. That's what I would say. I
I
can
love
still
that.
laugh with him. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Now, being in this industry for 13 years now, what is one dating tip that you used to believe in, but now you're like, that's not really a good dating tip anymore? Like, what is one dating tip that you've heard of that you disagree with, or that you've learned on your own that it no longer applies?
So I will say 13 years ago, I was okay with, women allowing the guy to make the first move. Like,
Mm,
like just I was okay with it. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I hear you on that. Absolutely. No, no, no. Not today. Nope, nope, no. For a plethora of reasons. But I will say just a couple. One, quite frankly, women are outnumbered, or it's more women than men, right? Shoot your shot. Why not? If you hear a no, guess what? That means he just wasn't your person. It's okay. It's okay to be assertive. Don't be aggressive, but it's okay to be assertive. If you see someone, you start the conversation in the grocery store. Ask him about those strawberries. It's okay. And if he's just like the one word answers or is not really paying you attention, he's not your person.
right.
So I would say that would be the one piece of advice. It's okay to be assertive. Yeah.
So, are you saying, going back to our strawberries story, that the woman should say, gosh, I wish I wasn't in a hurry. I would love to have coffee with you sometime. Here's my number.
Um, if that's what you're feeling, May, yes, why not? And if he calls, then that's a great. And if he doesn't, oh wow. Like,
Right.
yeah, yeah. There's really no rules around that. If you're feeling it, then do it. I do. Yes, I believe that 100%.
I
Yep.
agree. I agree. Well, Trenia, it is dark where you
I
are.
know. Can
It's,
you see
I
me?
can barely see you. But thank you so much for joining me today on the Asian Dating Podcast and talking about dating and your business and learning a little bit more about you and your husband.
One last dating tip. Enjoy dating.
Yeah,
Make it fun. It's so, you're getting to know someone. Don't be too serious. If you're out meeting, you're meeting people, maybe that person becomes a good friend. Maybe that person's a good companion for someone else. It doesn't matter. But, don't be too serious with it. Don't be too rigid. You're out, enjoy it. You're meeting someone. Just let it be. And
I
and
love
and
it.
yeah, that's it. That's what I would say.
Okay, thank you, Trenia, for joining me. And ladies, if you're single, please go to twoasianmatchmakers.com, fill out a profile with me so I can find you and set you up with the great guys that I know that maybe Trenia knows. And it's free for women. So I invite you to fill out a profile with me.